All right. Good morning, guys. Today, I'm not entirely sure what we're doing today, but I'm finally happy that I'm finally in focus. That we can finally say goodbye to out of focus video and in general just good content, I guess. So let's talk about my NCLEX journey. And NCLEX journeys are never the same. Some people have immediate happy endings and some don't. And some go through a lot. And, my wife is also going through that. I let her tell her story. It's really interesting. I hope that, when this is all over, she can tell you about her experience and how it went for her. But, today it's all about me and how I got my NCLEX. So, our NCLEX journey started in 2014. Well, 2013 I passed my, where I graduated from nursing, and then I got my Philippine license. But I went here immediately because I got my, I was already an American citizen at that time. So I went here and decided to practice my nursing here in the United States. So one of the very first states that I applied to, you could tell I took my time taking the NCLEX. So the first state I applied to was California. Of course, California as a board of nursing is excellent. They are quick to evaluate your credentials. They don't play around. Really, they don't play around. It's like within weeks you'll know if you're able to take the test or not. And unfortunately for me, I wasn't able to take the NCLEX because for them I was deficient. There's a thing called concurrency, and this is definitely something I want to share to everybody out there who are nurses that are educated internationally, that when you do take your nursing classes, make sure when they're offered to you, like for example medical surgical nursing, right? They're offered in your sophomore year. Make sure that if you have requirements to graduate, like cases, for us in the Philippines we need to do scrub and circulate, three major cases as scrub, circulate, that's 6 cases, and then 3 minor cases as scrub and circulate, that's 12 cases all in total. Before that it was really ridiculous, but this time it's just 3 for us. But we couldn't even really complete it in our sophomore year, so I completed mine in my senior year. And when the California Board of Nursing saw that, they said, oh, you're deficient in concurrency. So they told me, okay, you need to go to school, I don't know, 4 semesters, 2 semesters. I didn't even bother because, that's another expense on top of what I already paid them, which was $900 just to get my credentials. And even more than that because I had to, send somebody to the college or where I graduated from in the Philippines and send them, the requirements that they needed, and it was a lot. Okay, they wanted my related learning experience book, the red book that we have. So yeah, I didn't even bother with that. So the next state I applied to was North Carolina. Of course, this is my residence. I applied here. I did not pass. Sad to say, I did not pass. It was very quick. I did need to have Social Security. Of course, all the Board of Nursing requires Social Security, but some states will not let you take it, but some will not release your license until you get one. And in North Carolina, they also ask that you pass a English proficiency exam. So it could either be IELTS or TOEFL, if you're familiar with those. So you got to pass that. There's a certain point that they accept, and I did. That was kind of nerve-wracking, but not as depressing when I failed it. So that was my first fail. The next state I applied to was Hawaii. That was pretty quick. They did not ask for TOEFL or English proficiency exam because the subjects that I took in nursing were taught in English. So, and to me that makes sense, because if everything is taught in English, then you should be able to understand English, right? Right, because the tests were in English. Okay, our quizzes were in English, our final exams were in English. The books were English, although there were translations on the local vernacular, so we could relate to the diseases to the people, because it's kind of hard to explain it in English, where some people who might not have had education don't know what it is, and most lay people do not understand what an infection is, right? Like conjunctivitis. You have conjunctivitis, ma'am, and it's just the end of it. So we gotta be able to explain it to the local people. And in some cases it's really bad, because you hear doctors explain their disease process to some of the poor folks in the Philippines, and it's just ridiculous, because the people just say they're okay, I need surgery, okay, because they feel they're in pain, and all they want to really accomplish is to get out of the pain, right? To be relieved of the pain, rather. So that's one thing. And my final board that I applied to was New York, and they did have a lot of requirements. They required you to attend 2 classes, both of which are online and they're free. So that was a good thing. But you had to have CGFNS evaluate your credentials. That was the only thing. You didn't have to take the CGFNS test, but you had to have CG evaluate your credentials, like your transcript, the translation of the transcript or whatever, and then they'll get back to you on that one. And that was pretty easy. They didn't ask for an English proficiency exam, so that was good. And that's when I passed. And the funny thing about it was that on the first 2 tries I did, I studied so hard that my brain would just be like, would turn into mush, right? On the first exam, it took me 100 questions, and it just stopped, and I was like, okay, I think I just passed. And I didn't. The second one, I ran out of time, and that was because I decided, let me just take my time, and hopefully I'll pass it. But if you take your time and you run out of time, what the computer will do is take the last 60 questions and hope that you have all of them correct. Because if you missed one of them, like say for example, if you had 59 questions right and the last one is wrong, you failed, and that sucked. And the other thing is that those 60 questions must be consecutively correct, right? If 1, 2, 3, 4 were correct and 5 was wrong, immediately they won't even look at the remaining questions. So that's the thing about if you run out of time. So if you're thinking about taking your time and allowing the time to run out, that's a very, very bad plan. All right, make sure that you answer all the questions, and make sure you answer them in the time allotted. I think it's 2 hours and 45 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. And lastly, on my last take, I did not study at all. I just played video games. That's right, I just played video games on the last try, and lo and behold, I I just passed. So I don't know what I did. I think it was because I used Kaplan on the last one, and I finished all the questions, and then the rest of it I was just, relaxing. And this wasn't just, a week of relaxing. I think it was just like a whole month of relaxing. Okay, after I on and off used Kaplan, I answered the questions. I went through the lady in the video with her questions, and the rest is history. I'm a registered nurse now for 4.5 years. And if I had to do it again, it's probably would be the worst feeling ever to do it over again, because I don't think I would pass it again, or maybe I would. I think after the exam, I gained a voice in my head that says, when things go wrong, do this, or it really made me, I guess, a better nurse. I don't know. So the moral of the story is that you'll never really know when you'll pass the exam, because whether you study hard or not, you could pass on the next one. I just didn't really care if I passed or not. I would just keep on taking it until I passed. And fortunately, I did. I mean, if it meant, going back for a refresher course, and I would, right? I would definitely do it. But, yeah. I think that is it.